I often get asked about just the rhythms and routines in my life because I'm extremely disciplined. I get an enormous amount done. And the thing that I think fascinates people the most, because we have a lot of people that are part of this project that really care about the project, but they also care about me, is I often get messages from them. They're like, hey, we know how hard you're pushing. We know how hard you're grinding. You're so inspiring. Just make sure that you never lose sight of what actually matters. And I love that they say it. I love that they say it because to me, I almost feel like it's more of a reminder for them than for me because I'll never lose track of what really matters. I mean, like when I was 20 years old, I had this realization, which was eventually I'm going to become a dad. And I don't really know many 20-year-old young men that think about becoming a dad unless they're actually about to become a dad. But the reason I was reflecting on my childhood. And if somebody were to have said to me, what's one word to define your childhood? I would have said loud. Like there was just nowhere for me to go for peace. And part of it is my parents went through this really gruesome divorce. It was super intense. I feel like I was unnecessarily involved in it even. And it was just loud. Like there was just nowhere for peace or serenity. And when I was 20 years old was when I had this realization, which was this is that point of demarcation for me, where every decision I make from this moment going forward is going to impact my future children. So what kind of dad do I want to be? And I remember in that moment, I remember where I was in this like little coffee shop with this little laptop. I'm like, you know what I want? You know what my non-negotiable is? It's freedom. And I don't even remember until that moment actually even thinking of the word freedom. So I'm like, I wonder what freedom is. And I started to break it down. And there was 14 different categories of freedom, from my health to my career to my finances to my role as a father and as a husband and my spirituality and my adventure. And I started to define how freedom fit into each of these categories. And probably 45, 60 minutes later, I had like 25 pages of content that I typed out really quickly. And I'm like, let me start reading this. And I started reading through it, and it was really interesting because I don't know anyone that has that. Like, I don't know anyone that has what I just wrote about. And if I'm going to want what no one that I know has, I have to be willing to do what no one that I know has done. And that was my moment. That was my moment where I burned the boats and I went all in on entrepreneurship. Well, fast forward to a little over 7 years ago, my daughter was born and I had that freedom and I refused to give it up. And to me, I define freedom as doing what I want, when I want, as often as I want, without ever asking, can I, and only declaring I can. So when the people in my world, our shareholders, our team, our co-founders, our strategic alliances, our vendors, when they reach out just to acknowledge what they see me doing, but reminding me not to lose sight of what matters, I love that they're saying it because I really believe they're just reminding themselves to it. But part of how I don't lose sight of what matters is my insane discipline about my rhythms and rituals. And it's just insane. I mean, every day for me is the same structurally, and it never veers off that structure. And some might say, wow, that's so rigid, that's so limiting, and it's everything but that, because everything gets done because I have this insane structure. And the only time any structure changes is if one of my little kiddos decides to just wake me up in the middle of the night. And then it throws off the morning slightly, but it's for good reason, because there's gonna be a point in time that they don't wanna sleep with me. So I wanna take advantage of those opportunities. But when that doesn't happen, the way the structure works is at 4:45 in the morning, I'm up every single day. And when I wake up, I step out of bed, and usually I step into a pile of doubt. And that might not be what you expected me to say, but I do, because I'm still a human, and I'm doing something so freaking ambitious right now. I mean, what I was called to do a few years ago, and I have a wonderful team now that's supporting this, is to build, scale, and exit 10,000 tech companies. Create an entirely new asset class called capital efficiency, capital efficient SaaS, to focus not only on finding unicorns, because we will, but also put a huge emphasis on singles and doubles, turning napkins into cash flowing assets. So I'm a human, just like you, and when I wake up, almost every day, I literally step, and I want you to picture this, a pile of doubt. It's the first feeling, it's the first thing that shows up, and I have to make a decision in that moment as to how long will my foot sit in this disgusting, smelly pile of doubt. And the way that I shift that perspective is I go to my synagogue, which is the gym. And the gym for me has really been my place of worship for as long as I can remember. When I was a teenager, I remember begging my dad, please let me work out. And at the time, there was this absurd concept that people embraced, was that if you work out too soon, you're gonna stunt your growth. I have no clue why people believe that, but that was what his belief was. So he's like, okay, fine, you can work out. All that you can do is the rowing machine and pull-ups, that's it. So I freaking did the rowing machine and pull-ups. I mean, every single day, I was rowing for like miles upon miles and doing hundreds and hundreds of pull-ups. And then finally in high school, I'm like, Dad, like, it's time. Like, give me some iron, dude. Like, give me a shot. Put me in, coach. So he's like, all right, you can do this one routine every other day. It's total body. You can't increase weight. And when I do anything wrong in high school, what I would lose was the gym. Like, that was the way that I got punished. So my synagogue, my place of worship is the gym. And when I was in college, that's when I really came into my own with it. And I started living the lifestyle of a natural bodybuilder, just without ever competing, because it wasn't about competing for the world, it was about me competing for myself. And I learned a lot, and I tested things, and I was incredibly strong. It's my place of worship. It's the place that I go to take my foot out of that really warm, disgusting, smelly pile of freaking doubt. So I'm in the gym by 5, and when I'm in the gym, I am fanatically focused. I'm listening to personal development. I'm zoned in. I'm in my state of flow. I leave nothing on the field. Every single set, I go at least 1 rep, if not multiple reps, past fatigue. And I do that intentionally, because the only way that you'll ever grow in anything, is if you step outside of your comfort zone. You absolutely cannot grow if you are comfortable. So I don't go to my place of worship to be comfortable. I go to my place of worship to expand possibility. And I'm in the gym for 45 minutes every day, 7 days a week, 365. The only possibility that I miss a day in the morning, because I'll go at night, is if one of my kiddos wakes me up, like I mentioned before. But I'm really there and I'm present. And I make decisions physically at this point. I call them 100-year decisions. I didn't used to do this, but 100-year decisions mean that I have to be able, whatever I'm going to be doing physically, for the next 100 years. So I'm focused on longevity now more than anything else. After that, I'm getting ready for the day. My kids get up super early, so I have time with them every single morning. I cherish that time immensely, and it really centers me. It centers me to what people tend to message me about, which is never lose sight of what actually matters. The reason I do what I do is I want to show my wife and my children that you can have it all. The reason I do what I do is I want to show my team and our shareholders and our founders that you don't have to compromise. You don't have to negotiate. You can have the health, you can have the relationship, you can have the time with your kids, you can have the adventure, and you can have the success, and you can pursue your calling. It's a game of and, not a game of or. So once I complete my time with my kids, I'm at the office, and when I'm in the office, I am non-stop. I mean, I am so fanatically focused. My first 2 hours in the office are following up with the people that I care about, people that I recently met, people I've known for years, touching base, sending text messages, sending emails out. I spend 2 hours Monday through Friday just following up with humans that I want to go deeper with, humans that I've gone deep with, and I really value relationships. To me, that's the one currency that actually counts. It's called relationship capital. There's an abundance of financial capital out there, but there's not an abundance of relationship capital if you don't work it. So I really spend time on relationship capital. And by the time 8 o'clock rolls around, every 30 minutes until 5 o'clock, I'm on calls. Now, some of these calls are with multi-billionaires. Some of these calls are with people that have immense influence in their city that are looking to bring innovation to their city. Some of these calls are with deans of universities. Some of these calls are with lawyers. Some of these calls are with our co-founders or with strategic alliances that are working with our co-founders. I have an extremely diverse day because what we're doing is so diverse. And if I ever were to like really open up the Komodo, which I just won't do in service of the people I'm speaking with, it kind of blow your mind, these conversations. I mean, some of them, when I get off, I like pinch myself. I'm like, is this real? Like, this is remarkable. That like 2.5 years ago, I felt called to do something and I decided to fully execute on it. And a short time later, we're having conversations with people and things of influence that are in some ways unimaginable, like doing what's never been done. To me, I'm not talking about me right now. I'm just using me as an example for you. Because the one thing I don't have, I do step into a pile of doubt for sure every day. And I have lunch with it too every now and then as well. But my reality is this, is if I can do it, you can do it. And I have proven that there are no boundaries to possibility. And I will consistently prove that there are no boundaries to possibility. Anyone that has told me that what I'm looking to do is impossible, I just tune them out. I don't even know what they're talking about. It's as if they speak Chinese and all I know is English. I have no idea what they mean when they say what I'm doing is impossible. Because what I see it as is an extremely ambitious vision with a practical path to get there. So maybe at some point in time, I'll open up the Komodo and just show literally the types of conversations I'm having. But from 8 to 5, every 30 minutes, I'm on call. So you can do the math, quite a bit of calls. Every single day, every one of these calls are high leverage opportunities to move this project forward. That is my responsibility. Access and attention, that's what I focus on within this project from 8 until 5. Now at 5 o'clock, I'm bouncing because I'm stepping into dad mode. Remember, never lose sight of what matters. I promise you I won't, and I want to make sure you don't either. So I head home and I'm with my kiddos till 8 or 8:30 at night, depending on how much they negotiate me, because they are the best negotiators on planet Earth. And we have fun, like we immerse ourselves. Like I am one of them for those 3 hours, 3.5 hours even. We are wrestling, we're doing cartwheels, we're doing maybe playing video games, not usually. We're doing work together, we're reading, we're drawing, we're laughing, we're creating memories. We're just being together as a family. It is the best 3 hours of the freaking day. Like it is so much fun. I finally get them to bed, and then it's time to spend a little bit of time with my wife as she prepares herself for the next day. And then she starts really transitioning into bed. And then I spend about 90 minutes each night laying a foundation to ensure that the next day is absolutely optimal. I go through my schedule. I start just visualizing outcomes of every single person I'm about to speak with. Remember, 8 to 5 every day, 30-minute calls every minute of every day from 8 to 5. I start visualizing outcomes. I do any final follow-up, people that I spoke with that day, if I promised them anything. And then before I go to bed, right before I go to bed, what I commit to before my eyes close, what I commit to is that I'm never going to stop in the pursuit of possibility. It's all that I see. I see, this is every single night, I see myself stepping on a stage in a stadium where there's thousands upon thousands of people that are involved with this project. Some of those people are shareholders, some of those people are co-founders, some of those people are our team, some of those people are vendors, some of those people are just like friends that have just been cheering us on, but everybody in that stadium is on the field with us. And what I see every night before I go to bed, because I will never let doubt be the last thing I think about or see before I sleep, is I see all of us putting our hands in just like this, all of us, and on 3, saying together, because that's what this project is about. So that's my day. Every minute is scheduled. I know where I am at all times, unless one of my kids wakes up in the middle of the night. That's the one thing that goes unscheduled. Like I said, I love that though. I just want to make sure what you realize and take away from this is I will never lose sight, ever lose sight of what matters most. And I encourage you to not have this video be about me, but have it be about you. And never lose sight of what really matters to you. And what really matters, it should be all-encompassing. It should be your health, your relationships, your family, and your calling. Never lose sight of the fact that you too can have it all. All right, peace out. Bye for now.